fish light up there. Yay! I'm at my son's house, so this is not my place. I'm cat sitting and fish sitting, but the tank's a little empty right now because I'm taking my fish back to where I live. And I want to tell you a little story about my fish. So I had two fish. Anyone who's watched my videos in the last 2 years knew I had a big orange one that was named Love, and then this one is named Light. Now, Light is actually about 13 years old, missing one eye, and then the other eye is now blind. Yeah, so this fish has outlived a lot. So, funny story about the other fish. Some of you might know this story, but last year I told this story that my son had these fish in his other apartment where I was living in the city. And it was the anniversary of my mom's birthday. Like, she's passed on in 2012. And it was her birthday. This is June 6th of 2021 this happened. And another time of a big shift. And the fish, the good healthy fish, jumped out of the tank and died. It actually committed suicide. Ironically, how do you think my mom passed away? It's not really a joke, but it's just kind of ironic. So I don't put anything, oops, I'm kind of jiggling around here because there's not many places to actually film here. So, and I don't want to show you my son's apartment for privacy, so for his own privacy. But anyways, I do want to talk about lots of stuff going on out there in the newspapers. A lot of truth coming out. Some of it, if you redact all the nonsense, you'll see that there's a lot of stuff that's actually very accurate in the newspaper. So I don't know, like, I'm gonna go back to a couple years ago when I talked about our energies and how we were co-creators of our reality. And I've been talking about this for a couple of years. And oh, you remember that story, Paul? Good. So I wasn't just making it up and didn't say it on YouTube, but I'm sure I shared it. Anyways, but so for the last couple of years, we've been talking about, how it's 5D chess and there's Art of Illusion and there's the Art of War being played, and how we have to keep our vibrations at a certain happiness and a certain level. We have to keep getting rid of things that are programmed into us and illusions that have been programmed into us. So, as we know, the MEDIA is very corrupt. And so I think it's really awesome that a lot of this stuff is being reported. I am detoxing, by the way, taking the CBS, which is MMS. I'm not supposed to say that online, but whatever. Yeah, I've gotten a lot of sun, so I get these sun spots. But anyways, so not that that matters, 3D. What is going on in my perception is the people who are doing the spiritual work and remaining at peace in their heart and discerning the information to be just information and not getting too attached to it, can see how when you sit and observe the storylines that are going on, there's a lot of people who weren't necessarily in the knowledge of some stuff now starting to go, what, who is this person, or why are they saying this, or why, what's going on? And case in point is I've been staying in the city, cat sitting, like I said, just for a week. It's been a very long week. I have hardly slept because it's so freaking noisy here. Where I run out in my village and go, Spirit Train, and make a big deal out of guessing the 4 numbers. The train is right underneath our building, and it's more like Spirit fucking Train. Like, I'm over it. I'm over the noise here. I'm so tired of it. And ambulances and stuff. So But I've had a lot of psychic moments here in the city, just being by myself. And some of the things that have happened with some of the people, and I was on the bus the other day going to visit a friend, and there's these two girls on there that work for like a plant company, and they didn't look like they were aware of super what's going on. It's not like they were, this or anything, but you could tell they were angelic people. And so we started chatting, and it ended up being like a really good 15 minutes of like, wow, I didn't know that. And one of the girls said, I regret taking the medicine, I really do. And so I gave her some helpful hints, how to detox that at 555, yay. To detox that out of her system, and put her in touch with a couple of websites and friends that could help her. But it's amazing, there's a lot of people that are kind of cluing in because of what is going on in the mainstream and some of the things that are said. So I just found like these two articles back to back about the 17th letter movement, and how they think it's a big conspiracy and blah 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 and all this crap. And I'm like, okay, so the article right under it said something about the storm is upon us, and it went in to talk about HRC and how she was a ghoul, and like it was so graphic. I was like, holy crap, this was just a couple of days ago that they are saying this in, I think it was The Guardian. And I'm like, so if they're reporting all of this in The Guardian and you redact all of the stuff that is nonsense, there's a whole pile of truth out there. And I couldn't be happier. I don't care how it comes out, because it's all on people's perceptions, right? And their own realities. So if we really believe from the last 2 years, the stuff we learned 2.5 years, all the things of the charts I've made and things that we've learned from other people, that time is an illusion. And there's 777 books in the Bible. And one of them is the letter that we're talking about, movement. And I believe that is the collective consciousness as well. And if time is an illusion, and all of these things are so-called biblical, then wouldn't we all be in the Bible too? Just saying. Let's all use our rational thinking caps. If we're sitting in the middle if we're sitting in the middle of an infinite symbol in now time, and the past is on one side of us and the future is on the other side of us, and all of it exists in the same reality, the same infinite reality, quantum, and we're all co-creators and godlike figures in the 15th dimension when we're fully ascended and 100% of our DNA has been activated, right? So to me, I think we're getting super close. I think there's, in this 3D timeline where people think it just goes like in a line, or in a line, however it's going. I know it's backwards or something right now. But so my thoughts about all of this is, as we know, everybody plays a role, everybody's a character, and I realized I paused there when I said that word. Strange words make things pause here. So I'm just reading exciting times. We've been preparing. I said that we will be, yep, I agree. Somebody removed a message. Maybe it will be close. Yeah, so basically what I'm kind of getting at is, if we participate in timelines that have collapsed already and served their purpose. So I'll just bring you to the example of what made Raven Moonstone famous, is the Greg Hallett video, right? how much did that guy teach us? He blew my mind in the interviews that he gave. Everybody has a purpose. Everybody has a role. He taught us that the queen was royal. Why was she, wasn't real and all this stuff, or was fake and all of this. So, and the documentation was there to prove it. So again, opened a storyline, and so it could expose information for the world to see. He believed in everybody being equal and world peace. What's the harm in that? Other storylines that were open led to a whole bunch of C&Ds. I can't even say the words on camera or even talk about it personally. Grocery groups being created. A lot of humanitarian work went out until February 22nd-ish. And then that storyline served its purpose, so to speak, or till March, for me, March 5th. So there are certain timelines that people have to invest time in this 3D matrix, a hologram, to extract and observe information. And some of it serves for good and some of it serves for bad. But it's not like the agenda is going to be explained as easy as the dark agenda is for us to understand. Because these benevolent beings that are here helping us, and people that are working at a much higher level, it's much like us being cartoon characters on a flat piece of paper and then being in 3D world. So we're not going to see some of the things or have an understanding of how these things have to be done in a sort of galactic, cosmic soul contract per each individual's alignment when they were born and what they were here for. I literally said to one of my very good friends today, I'm like, honestly, when you think about it, who else is talking like this but the people who are meant to talk like this right now? So we're here to be, I've always felt this, the doulas of the way we're supposed to transform the way we used to think into the way we're supposed to manifest and co-create. So if we're constantly participating in timelines, like people asking me something about 2 years ago, I'm like, oh my God, I feel sorry for you if that's where you are from 2 years ago and you knew about that 2 years. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's 2 years that seem like 20 years in this matrix for me, especially this year. I feel like I've lived about 10 lifetimes in the beginning of the year. I was like, holy wow, like the amount of stuff that I learned when I was in Ottawa blew my mind. And I still cannot speak about it because of the RCMP. Yes, okay, there it is. Legal reasons, I'm not blabbing about much. So, and people have a problem with that. I'm not going to say anything bad anyways. You'd be surprised at the stuff that would come out of my mouth. But I love everybody, and I love everybody's purpose, and that's the whole part of ascension. Are you truly ascending if your light isn't alive within you? If you're constantly living in a timeline where you haven't dealt with whatever trigger pisses you off about a certain timeline, like, oh, he thinks he's going to be the king of England, nobody needs to reign over us. That was never what was discussed, truthfully. So when you go back and look at the information that was extracted versus and where that sort of slingshot a lot of people, it's much like Janet Osbard and her movies. I hope I pronounced that right. And her movies, we're all messengers. We're all messengers of some information and all starseeds, even you guys out there. So if you're actively participating in trying to hold your vibrations high, but you're still wallowing in, and I'll call it wallowing, because you're feeling victim to something. Don't feel victim to it. I don't. I don't feel like I had anything but the most life-changing experience for my soul contract that I could have asked for in the last 2 years. I've worked my whole entire life doing jobs that have led me to have a deep understanding of what we're going through right now. I've been in the mortgage business, the banking business, I've been a doula, a healthcare aide. I've basically helped people be born and help people die. And I've also been in, did I say the mortgage? Oh, insurance business. Like pretty much anything that you can see behind the scenes of how they rip us off is where I've been, or how they poison us, or how they make us feel victim to ourselves. And the whole purpose for this video is to let you guys know, like, I was not joking in that cosmic history video. We are so powerful to manifest and co-create the reality that we want that we have to drop those old timelines. Because if we don't drop those old timelines, you're the one who's keeping them alive, honestly, as part of a collective consciousness. So think if we were all thinking about what was supposed to be delivered on September 11th of 2001, it starts with an N, then there's an E, and then an S, and ARA, at 10 o'clock in the morning. 2 banks were shut off at 9 o'clock, and at 10 o'clock, Alan Greenspan was supposed to announce that. So if we all participated actively in that timeline of that actually manifesting to fruition, then that happens. That's how it works. So we are all psychic. We all can be that powerful. And that's why we have been oppressed this whole entire time, okay? So you have to actively, every day, stop yourself from thinking negative things that just keep going in that cycle, in that loop. Where's your light? Are you doing things that make you happy? If you feel overwhelmed, then how are you dealing with that overwhelmed? Are you acknowledging what is overwhelming you, and why is it there? Is it from something that has triggered you from your childhood? Is it something in just purely within your DNA? You're just here to fight the AI. Is that it? Is it past life trauma? There's a lot of things that are being cleaned out of us right now through these cosmic energies being gifted to us. And this is how we ascend, is we have to get rid of that negative stuff, process it, to not let it infiltrate you. Like if it's infiltrating your thoughts in any sort of negative way, then you're not in control of your thoughts. You manifest your peace and your reality. And there's been a lot of sorrow, and there's been a lot of death lately. And unfortunately, this is the way moving forward, because some of these really energetic light beings are here to just deliver a message. And I'll go back to last year when I helped my little nephew, Solace, be born. And I was just feel gifted that he was alive for 94 days. He keeps coming to me in spirit and ways that I cannot even explain, is such a gift. And he keeps saying to me, you wait, Auntie, you're gonna see things are just so cool. Like, I keep getting those thoughts from him, and then there'll be rainbows, and he was attached to the number 1 and 4. So there's been gifts of these all around me, and we must pay attention to those. That's part of meditation. Are you seeing the gifts that are being presented to you in a lightful way? Because if we're not tapping into the harmony and beauty of peace on earth in a manifestation way, it's not going to get there any faster. It really does take the collective consciousness to say, I'm not going to let that person infiltrate my thoughts anymore, whether it be an ex-husband or ex-wife or your boss or an old friend, something you said. Forgiveness. Forgiveness of yourself is the key. Forgiveness of others. And I talked about this. It was in my friend Jessica's book, The Sapling. And it's a forgiveness exercise. You sit that person that you want to say in front of you. If you can't sit them in front of you physically, then you just let them have it. You say energetically everything you wanted to say to them, Say, I forgive you and I love you. And thank you for the lessons. Let it go. Move on. Because holding on to that energy is like a ball of fire and you're just expecting to throw it at someone else. And that goes to the same of holding on to those timelines that are collapsing, that hold no value. If people are doing 3D things and not acting in their highest natural law way, then are they really in your vibration? Why do you need to pay attention to those storylines anymore? So that's how I deal with all of it, whether it's people making rude comments or whatever. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care even what you say about another person. Oh my goodness. Like, I'm here to deliver a message, and so are a whole bunch of other people. We need to stop beating up the people telling the message and listen to the message. Discern all the junk that's in there, because they're not going to say, oh, this is our next move. We're hiding behind the bushes over here, behind the Calgary Tower. We'll be escaping at exactly 12:52 on September 11th. And yeah, this is going to be our move. That's not what they're doing. There's operations that happen to unlock other storylines, you know, and different timelines. And just think of the sacred geometry of us all being on this beautiful flower of life. And your vibration changes moment to moment. So you're with a new energy all the time until, you know, we're all in this beautiful harmonic ascension where the pyramid of money and illness and greed has been dissolved by the love that's in a pool of water. We're already almost there, guys. It's almost done. But we must forgive. We must love ourselves. We must wake up every morning and go, I love you, Raven. Not I love you, Raven, but your name. But you can say I love you, Raven, because it's just energetically good. But and be thankful and be grateful, because learning about natural law and the principles behind natural law and what they mean for you is really the law of one. You wouldn't want to hurt yourself. You wouldn't want to hurt your neighbors. You wouldn't want to hurt your children. You wouldn't want to hurt your dog. You wouldn't want to hurt your cat. You wouldn't want to hurt your horse. We don't need to own anything either moving forward. That's not how we're going to roll. It's not about ownership. Ownership is about greed. Ownership is about greed. Let me say that again. Okay? We have been programmed to need stuff. That's why there's freeing when people get rid of everything and live a very simplistic life. Like, I love my life right now. I wake up every morning, I have coffee with my friends, we discuss, solve world problems, smoke, and get along our busy day, help our neighbors, and act like a community. So we must actively participate in this natural law harmony of ourselves. Like, what makes us happy, what gets rid of the sadness and triggers. And yes, there is a lot of death. Death is an illusion. I've had to overcome. Anybody who's watched my videos in 2 years has known that death is all around me constantly. I cannot let the sadness of what they've been doing on our planet affect me, knowing right now, and I'm saying that in all of this, we're at war, number one, spiritual war. These souls have chosen to participate as per their soul contract and their free will in this timeline at this moment. And some of these, like I said, really super hardcore light workers. And one of them was a good friend of mine, and she took her life 4 years ago. She knew what was coming. And I'm telling you, she talked about some of this stuff. And she was one of the most beautiful human people on the planet. Then there wasn't my best friend Star. That was only in 2019. So I've learned so much about how they're trying to keep our vibrations low, that we must celebrate the people who have passed. We must embrace all the darkness in love, as hard as it is, because that's what's going to set us free. Is light is alive in every single being and fiber of every single thing we do. And this fish is 13 years old, living proof. Like, like, wow, 13 years old. It's almost died like 3 or 4 times. So I'm very grateful for you guys allowing me this time to talk to you today. I haven't really gotten up here and just chit-chatted freely for a while, because I bought a paddle board. I went river rafting with my friend Taco, who does all the hard work on my Telegram. I've not tapped into my Telegram. I've been offline for a long time, but I can tell you the value in doing that for me has been, I have tapped into such a psychic energy, it's freaking me out. I can't even go to the grocery store anymore. It was like I've been having these weird things. I'll just tell you this story because it's kind of funny. At the grocery store, and I'm going to buy a floating device just to go down to the Bow River because I left my one-man raft at home. And you have to wear a life jacket when you're in the Bow River. So I decide I'm going to get this big floating unicorn and do hashtags on it, like gays against grooming, child grooming, and all this stuff. Like I had a pizza and I put hashtag pizza, GATE. I can't even say that word on here. Anyways, a few years ago. It's like an information thing. So I've got that in my grocery cart, orange juice, strawberries, and a loaf of sourdough bread, because I love sourdough bread. Yes, I still eat it occasionally. And I've only got these items in my grocery cart. There's nobody in the store. Nobody in the store. Like, it's 10:30 on a Tuesday or something. Like, all the grandmas went home already. I get to the front checkout, and there's like 10 checkouts. It's this stupid store that I was banned from, too. Thrilling challenge. Will she get evicted from the superstore? She was banned for life. They didn't recognize me. Anyways, so I get up to the front counter, and before I even get there, there's no one there. It's a big space, and a friend is asking me in my ear, "Are you a vegetarian, Raven?" And I'm like, there's no one around me. No friend is there. I'm like, what the hell is this? So I go check out my groceries. The lady at the end of the next aisle over is a care worker, and she's helping another lady pack her groceries. And she says, "Linda, are you a vegetarian?" I was like, what the hell? Like, I gotta get out of here if I'm reading people's thoughts. Okay? Like, I don't want to read people's thoughts. That's something I'm a little over at this point, because the last 2 years, it's pretty easy to read people's thoughts, you know? So, but it was just something energetically funny, but it pulled me into being present. And I was like, wow, I wonder if I paid attention all of the time, if I could tap into what people were thinking or whatever. And so far, it's been pretty accurate. It's been happening a lot over the last month. We had a friend stay from down in South America, so she speaks Spanish. I'm not going to say where she's from, just for privacy. And I kept getting these questions of, what's this, what's that? And I'm like, why am I asking these questions? Like, I already know what this stuff's for, or what this sticker means, or whatever. And here was her. She would ask the questions, like, I don't know, a minute or two, or an hour within an hour. Same thing with some of the other housemates. I was like, it's crazy. It's just crazy is all I'm saying. So I think it's just what we're getting cleaned up. All the light is coming, and it's very much... there's a lot of things. The other thing I wanted to tell you, speaking of that NESARA, here in Calgary, on a radio station last week, so this is MEDIA as well, they were playing a game called, it was called something about conspiracy theories, and they're making jokes about them. And they would give you like 11 burning buildings or crashing planes as the award of how dumb your conspiracy theory was, right? It's like mocking. You know what they were talking about? NESARA. On the radio in Calgary. So pay attention, folks. It's all coming. They're going to talk shit about all of us. I have been talked shit about for 2 years, or over 2 years, and I could say that I have zero care in the world for that. In fact, actually, I find it very amusing, and I don't care what people think of me. I just don't. If I did, I probably would have plucked my eyebrows and not done this video, because I got a thing on my face. I just don't care. I probably wouldn't be wearing my pajamas. Yeah, I'm wearing my pajamas. And I don't care. My shirt says, let the shenanigans begin. It's supposed to be St. Patrick's Day, but I love the word shenanigans, so I had to buy this shirt. You know, I'm a Value Village shopper. I'm actually a Goodwill shopper. But anyways, so that's all I got for you today is you got to find that light and you got to cast your light so hardcore now. So hardcore. Bring others up and don't be criticizing anymore about where they're at. Like, we got to stop all of the low vibe memes, even though they are funny, some of them. And you know what I mean? Like, stop the division and just start throwing out love bombs to everybody as hard as you can. Let your light shine right now, hardcore, and manifest and co-create. Because back to the cosmic history, we are God creators. We are manifestors of all of this. That's why they've tried to shut us down. We're more powerful than the X-Men. So let's prove it to them. Faster, stronger. Nothing can stop. Nothing can stop what's coming because we're energetically in a galactic movement, in a different space, in a different place, in a different time, in a different vibration. So it's impossible to go backwards in the lower vibes. We're at the end of the dark ages, peeps. So rise up. I love you guys. I love you all. Light and love. I couldn't see any comments coming up here. I don't know what the heck gives with that, but I love you. Take care.